Welcome to the fourth part of the NavTech video series. In this video, I'll show you how to set up the Outgoing Server. Setting up the Outgoing Server is exactly the same as setting up the incoming server in the beginning. You'll start with making a user with root access, and you'll create a hostname that fits your server, so in this case I would call it Outgoing. After that, you'll install the NAV Coin Core wallet and the Subchain Core wallet. To speed up the syncing process, you can also bootstrap the blockchain. When both the Subchain and the NavCoin wallet are synchronized, you should install the tools and download the NavTech source. From there we will continue to set up the Outgoing server. The first thing that we will do to set up the Outgoing server is determining the size of the NAV pool and edit the default.json file. The NAV pool is the amount of NAV that you hold on the Outgoing server. The receiver is paid out of the NAV pool. The NAV pool is refilled in the next cycle by the NAV that's held on the incoming server. In the file, scroll down all the way to NAV pool amount, and behind min, you can change the amount that you want your NAV pool to be. I recommend to fill the NAV pool with at least 4 times the amount of the maximum transaction size that people can send through your server. That way, your server can process at least 4 transactions in one cycle. After that, go into the directory navtech/config and load the example file. Then we will open the default.json file and make a couple of changes. First, behind prevent send, we change it to false. This will make sure that your outgoing server can make transactions. After that, under outgoing IP address, you'll change the IP address to your outgoing IP address. Then under outgoing remote, you change the IP address to the IP address of your incoming server, and you'll delete the second part of it. In case you have more than one incoming server, you can add them there. The next part has to be the same as your incoming server. Make sure that the min amount that you set on your incoming server is the same as the min amount on your outgoing server. Also, the same is true for max amount. The NAV pool amount has to be the same as the amount that we just changed. Your server can pay out the collected fees. You can set the minimum amount of NAV coin it has to collect before sending it out to another address. You can also set the address that you want to send to. You'll see that once you collect the minimum amount of payout, it will automatically be sent to the other address. For the notification email, you can just fill in your details. At NavCoin and Subchain, you have to add the RPC user and the RPC password. Also, you can set a password for your wallets under wallet passphrase. The last thing to change is the secret. This is the secret that was generated by the incoming server. So you can go into the default.json file if you didn't write it down anywhere else from the incoming server, copy it and paste it here on the outgoing server. Once you've made all changes, check them again because it's very important that these are correct. Then save the file and close it. After editing the configuration files, it's time to run the outgoing setup scripts. The VPS I'm using has 2 GB of RAM. When I was installing npm, it got stuck. What I did was closing the NAV Coin Core and the Subchain Core wallets, and after that tried it again. With the NAV Coin Core and the Subchain Core wallets closed, npm installed correctly. So if you have the same issue, try that. Make sure to start both wallets again after installing npm. Running the setup will give a lot of output. Just wait patiently for this to finish. You will see that a lot of addresses will be generated. If everything went correct, you should see success, everything is configured. The last thing to do for the outgoing server is building NavTech and installing forever. Just run the commands and everything should work properly. Forever is a service that manages your NavTech server for you. It will keep it up and running. Once Forever is installed, you can check the log. The log will show a couple of errors. This is completely normal. The NAV pool is empty, so it will show that the NAV pool amount is less than expected. This is normal and you can just continue from now. To make sure your server is running correctly, you can check it in your browser. Enter the IP address of your server, followed by a colon 3000. 3000 is the port that is used to connect to your server. You will probably get a warning that your connection isn't safe. This is because we use a generated unsigned SSL certificate. You can just proceed past this and you should see output confirming that it is an outgoing server. The outgoing and the incoming server are now set up successfully. There are just a few things left to do. We have to make backups of all the wallets on the servers. After that we can load NavCoin and Subchain Coin into the wallets. And then we can start a testing of the server cluster. Once the testing is successful, we can announce the server and everyone can make use of it.